Hello and welcome back to my channel. For today's standard deck tech that we're going to feature, we're going to talk about this list. This is the Mono-Black Zombies list. It has been, I think, my personal preference for getting ahead of this current standard metagame. So this is the visual view of the deck. I will go by each cards in its roll one by one. And this is a list from the last Sun 21 qualifier in Japan last November 27th. It was played by Shishido Yuji. It went third and fourth place, and this based on the snow covered lands, and of course we have access to Faceless Haven as another mana creature that we can also engage more later on for the long game deck plan. So we start with the most important one drop here, the list, the champion of the parish. So whenever a zombie enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+1 counter. Its role is mainly to get it online by turn 1 and then play on the rest of your creatures and also your other zombie token generators for him to get bigger and also to deal more additional damage for each combat. It is then partnered by Shambling Gust, which acts as more of a utility creature because when it dies, it gets the effect of getting an opponent creatures -1/-1 or creating treasure token. So its use probably is not only as 1/1, but you can trade with other 2/2s or X1 creatures. But then with the effects of this, it's you can also sacrifice it to spells like Deadly Dispute and Eaten Alive. So you'll probably have these 8 1-drops as your first turn's play, and it's followed by Zadar, the Gold Color, wherein you can generate 2/2 zombie tokens with decay, which is not at least a drawback because it gets you free creatures, which can get your champion pump and then later on use them for other shenanigans that which your other utility creatures can use. So this is then followed by Tainted Adversary. This is basically a 2-drop in a sense, but when it enters the battlefield, you get to activate more tokens by paying 3, at least 3 in a number of times. So considering you get to play it by turn 5, then you can get it to a +1/+1 counter, and then you get 2 black zombie creatures with decay. So it is also a good mana sink later on if you get to top deck it, because you can generate more zombies as you get to have more mana to pay for its sort of a kicker cost ability. Then for the 3-drops, we have this part. We have Arc Gold Trewin. So whenever a zombie or him dies, look at the top card with library. So if it's a zombie card, you get to reveal it and put it in your hand. And then if you don't, put it in the graveyard. So it's sort of filtering out zombies or another gas in case that you get to replace your a zombie that dies in battle or it gets the spot removal kill. And then if you don't, if it's not the zombie card, or they say it's a swamp or any spells that you need at the moment, you may put it in your graveyard, which also helps you filter out the threats that you would need for the current situation. Now we also have Fell Stinger. It is a 3/2 zombie scorpion. By extent, it's also a good attacker and can trade with big creatures, such as that for mono green. But a good effect of it is when exploit. So you get to have exploit zombie creature tokens with decay, wherein you get to benefit of drawing 2 cards and just losing 2 life. So its only drawbacks probably is that they don't. If you get a scenario wherein you cannot sacrifice another creature, or you can sacrifice it by itself. But at the least, whenever you curve onto this Fellstinger from Jadar, then you get to sacrifice that zombie token for him to get you 2 cards and just at the cost of the 2 life. Then we also have another 3 drop, the 3/1 Headless Rider. So whenever Headless Rider or another Jumbo token, a non-token zombie you control dies, you create a 2/2 zombie token. So basically, it's just another version of the old school root lang reanimator, wherein you get to replace all your non-token zombies that dies or dies in combat, or whenever you get them killed by a mass removal or mass destroy effects. So our fourth of here is the zombie dragon Ebon Death. It's basically a very effective attacker and flyer, of course. The only drawback here is that it enters the battlefield tap. So you may cast it from your graveyard if a creature not named Ebon Death died this turn. So in a given scenario, if ever that get to black opponent's creatures, in a sense that you get to trade with your own, then it can open the trigger for Ebon Death to cast at the end of your opponent's turn, which later on you can get to untap and also attack 4/5 in the air. In the same way, you can also trade with Goldspan Dragons or and other 5 toughness creatures that, if needed, that you get just trade with them, and then later on you just cast it again from your graveyard and do your the usual attacking in the air. So probably is the best creature drop in this curve, given that's only 4 to cast, and the drawbacks is just the entire of battlefield tapped. And for our spells, we have this spot removal, no? Eternal Alive. Infernal Grasp, this one is Eternal Alive. You just need to pay 4 or just sacrifice a creature to exile that creature or planeswalker. It's also good, but the only drawback here is this sorcery. But anyway, the Infernal Grasp is the most efficient spot removal, which just costs you 2 life, but it basically deals any creature that can be targeted. And the Unexpected Awakening here is the game gas. If ever you get to draw it, if you won't be able to use it for its mana source, mana land, then you get to return any number of creature cards that have different mana value to the battlefield. And of course, the leadership as mentioned, you get to sacrifice a creature, then you do 2 cards and create a creature treasure token, which you can use to ramp up for other threats that or you might need any mana that you can use later on. Then what's unique in this list are the one-ofs. The choices of cards are Clipping Fear, so sort of one-sided sweep. If given that you get to choose a creature type, you choose zombies, and then those that aren't the chosen type get -3/-3. If ever that your opponents get to resolve more creatures than your board, then you just cast this to wipe their side. And also Myth of Massacre, the same function, only that you need more mana to be able to be effective. But the good thing here is that its enchantment, when you get to retain it to the battlefield, the enchantment triggers wherein whenever a creature control dies, then you get to drain your opponents for 1 life, which is a good indicator in case that you have to build up your board, and then your opponents might have to sweep your creatures, and then the effect would be it will be more disadvantageous to them because of the life loss triggers for each creature that dies that turn. So it is a good inclusion here to have one of. because you won't really need it early on, and you just have them to get enough mana in case that opponents might have more creatures that can develop ahead by your board, and then just wipe them up with this card, and also with the Crippling Fear. Now, given as mentioned, it's 23 lands in total. We have 19 snow covered for mainly maintain the consistency. Only the non-black mana producer is the playset of the Faceless Heaven, wherein you can just pay the basic snow activation for it to become a 4/3 creature with vigilance. And given it also can be a additional attacker in case that you would need more damage sources for the Alpha Strike, for example. And for your sideboard, I like how he built up that it is more of a straightforward for control. You're gonna get to choose this batch, and then for aggro, you get to choose this group. So we start with control. We have these cards, Duress, common discard spell for choosing their spot removals or your planeswalkers to get them out before they ever cast it, and also the playset of Go Blank. This Go Blank is the well purpose of not only having them to discard the two cards, but also exiling their player's graveyard. So in case that you would have shenanigans, for example, like that in blue-red control blue-red spells, then you get to exile their spells, which they could not be able to flash back in the late game. Now for creature aggro matchups for mirror or any for mono white and mono green, probably we have this specific removal for mono white, which gets them to -4/-4. It's also given that it's also only cost 1 mana, but given that mono white only has enough pump creatures, given that they get to make the creatures bigger, so the -4 until end turn effect is justified. And of course, Blood Chesters just kill the early aggro for only 1 mana, and then if, later on you just need to pay the kicker cost for killing an unconditioned creature or planeswalker. And more support here for powered kill, and Show Shatter for killing the best or the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers to control. So this is also another card that you would need in case that an opponent develops their board with late game creatures such as the Wren, and probably cast their highest costed creature, in which you can make them sacrifice it. And of course, the one of Blood in the Snow is also sort of a mass removal, and then you will also get to return a creature planeswalker given that the X amount of snow source was spent to cast it. So to wrap this up, this is probably my best choice list for Mono-Black Aggro Zombies. You can get to change a few depending on how your metagame would curve. So if you can choose to remove this card, such as Dispute, then replace them with the playset of the Froggrass, or just cut out the 2 1-offs for more efficiency in your aggro setup by adding more Arcball, for example, or Tainted Adversary. And so overall, this is I hope that will have more consistent finishes in the coming tournaments, online and local gameplay. And probably if the metagame will then evolve around not necessarily revolve around, but they will consider Mono-Black as one of the top tier aggro decks in the metagame, then that surely be a good deck choice among those players that would want to play in in online through Arena or MTGO, and also on their local game tournaments. So that is a wrap for this standard deck tech for Mono-Black Zombies. Thank you for watching, and until the next deck tech.